So today I'm going to go through the Guangzhou Charge's two new rookie DPS players, Choisehwan and MYKaylee, formerly known as Kaylee. I think it's MYKaylee. I've yet to hear it pronounced. We'll see. Following in a long line of Michelle's and Eileen's and Molly's of female names. Let's do this. So the main reason I'm going through these is I really enjoy fantasy Overwatch. I'm trying to figure out the puzzle here of potential playtime and DPS lineups for the charge. And I figured while I was doing that, why not share it with everybody in case other people want to see this. There's overall, I don't know what to call it, a piece of content, a type of content that I want to see that's not here. And it's analysis of these new rookie players coming in. So I know this is all really scuffed. I know it's really bad content, but nobody else has done it yet. So here you go. Guangzhou Charge. They, of course, have lost Happy and Nero, and they have picked up Kaylee and Choisehwan to pair up with Eileen, who has been there for the past couple of seasons. Season 2 onward, of course, when they were a new expansion team. So, looking at the Charge's DPS lineup this year, I do a little bit of stuff, manipulation of what's in Stats Lab. And, of course, we have Eileen, Happy, Nero playing their heroes. Here's a brief outline of who played which heroes throughout the course of the year. And I'm going to try and look at who could potentially fill these gaps for the upcoming year and what playtime is going to look like for these guys. So I'll come back to this. What I want to start with first, if I can figure out all my buttons here, is I've got some clips lined up of each of these guys. So first set of clips here is on Season 2 China. We're going to look at Kaylee first. So Kaylee on Season 2 was playing with Billy, BLG. And I only ever saw Winter and Kaylee play. I never saw Don't Say. Kaylee played the hit scan role. Winter played mostly the Tracer, the Echo, and projectiles. So in looking at that setup, I at first thought Kaylee was just the just the hit scan player. But I also took a quick look back at Season 1 as well. And at that point, Kaylee was with Light Gaming, playing next to Wan Li, I think it is. And in that setup, Kaylee was playing everything but the hit scan. So Kaylee was playing Torbjorn, some Sombra, Reaper, Echo, basically filling everything alongside Wan Li, who was mainly playing the Ashe. So Season 1, Season 2, pretty different roles. I didn't pull any clips from Season 1, but I'm going to jump into some Season 2 clips here to look at what Kaylee was playing. So the first one here against Team CC, I'll pause just for context for a second. Going back to Season 2, in the bracket, BLG lost to Team CC in the semifinals, as Team CC, of course, went on in the epic 7-match final against Flag Gaming. Billy, they've always kind of been knocking on the door. They beat T1W. They beat, First Fabulous Fighters, and then lost to Flag Gaming. So they're knocking on the door. You know, Flag and Team CC, after this, they're kind of in a tier of their own. BLG is in the next tier. So let's look at the first play here from Kaylee. I'll jump speeds here and there. This first one, if you blink, you miss it. So it's a pretty nice kill onto Dia. This is the start of Busan, and there it is. If you blink, you miss it. So I'm going to go back a little bit. So first point engage, you see Dia and Gaga chasing Kaylee down the side there. And I will probably miss this too. Gaga with a good engage. They get salvation. And then, you know, things are looking really, really nice for Team CC. And then, boom, just like that, dead. So if I pause here, you have Dia running along the left side here. Shooting, who is it? It's not 800, it's Yahoo, who's BLG's tank. And Kaylee with kind of just a ridiculous shot on Dia behind that, with ball in the way. Pretty impressive shot. One tap headshot was at full health, I believe, and then just instantly dead. So even with distractions in the way, Kaylee with the really nice headshot. So first play there. Nice play. Doesn't tell us a whole lot. You'll see on a lot of these clips, you're kind of limited in what you can see because, of course, we don't have replay reviewer for contenders. Let me mute here. and go to the next clip. This one, another pretty good one. This is Kaylee getting a headshot on Innovation. So it's the same match, but Innovation is on the Tracer, not Dia this time. And this is BLG with a nice defense here. So I'll just let this one play through. I'm no caster here. I'm not trying to be. But Liga, this is where... No, this isn't Liga's bomb. That's the next one. So Liga gets the kill on Winter. Gaga tries to engage the high ground and kind of fails. And then as they're... as Team C's on the point here, you know, they're really contesting point on offense on Numbani. I'm going to slow down because this is another one where if you blink, you miss it. So Dia, high ground. They're just kind of popping, playing. Definitely capping here. And Kaylee with a really nice job taking the high ground away from Dia there. So things, you know, it's not extremely stable for BLG, but Kaylee does a really nice job contesting Dia on high ground. And we, you know, I feel like Dia is one of those names that we know really, really well. Not necessarily everybody, but he's definitely on the radar. There's been a lot of talk about why he is or isn't an owl, but he's definitely a high-level player. This is a high-level match here, and anybody who's able to just take on Dia high ground like this, you see one missed shot, but then the second one is a really nice one. The dynamite, you know, kind of prepped him there a little bit. So nice mechanical play from Kaylee. He definitely has some expertise here on the Ashe. Pretty impressive, especially considering in the previous season he wasn't even playing the position. So I'll leave that one there. Got a few more clips here. Same match here. Turn off, what is it? Rich Rad's lovely voice, Kenobi's lovely voice. Both great casters, by the way, on Contenders China. So this is another one here too, where Liga is just a nice bomb, like in the back. Actually gets Kaylee with it. Salvation with the forward trance to try and, you know, I kind of look at it as getting some space to get Kaylee back in the fight. But things are going very, very poorly for BLG. You know, they do lose the series 3-0. So no major surprises there. But that was a pretty nasty headshot there on Innovation. And then gets the dynamite, I believe, on 1987 as well. Let me pop back to that one really quickly. So on this one, here we go. So Kaylee's looking down sights. Bam. Just whips around. Sick headshot on Innovation. And as soon as he gets the damage tick, right there, you know, starting to get peppered from behind. He swivels around really quickly. Finds him, finds a headshot. That's one way to counter. That's one way to counter Tracer right there. And then yeah, the dynamite, you know, effective dynamite clearing that corner forces Liga back, taking too much damage. So really nice play by Kaylee there as well. Clearly has some proficiency hitting some huge headshots there. Let's see, next clip we've got on Kaylee. I have a couple here that don't make Kaylee look quite as good. So here, it was such a one-sided match against Team CC. I felt like I had too small of a sample size. So I went to where BLG was playing T1W. And Pineapple is another really, in my opinion, really good hit scam player. And this is one where Pineapple actually gets the better of Kaylee. So you'll see T1W is on offense here. There's some trading going on. And it's pretty messy. Pineapple gets the Diva after the bomb. A little bit happening around point here. We'll get to it in a second. So Pineapple also gets Winter. So Pineapple's kind of just wrecking shop here. So we get a first person here of Pineapple. And Pineapple is in a really good spot offensively, has the high ground. Really the only person that can contest this really well, considering he just killed Winter, is Kaylee. So Kaylee's got to make a huge play here. And so I'll slow down just a little bit and speed up here and there, so you can see what's going on here. So Pineapple knows Kaylee's coming up the stairs. You can see the outline there. Gets some good damage ticks there. And you'll see Kaylee start to burn down a little bit in the top left. Health draining. And Kaylee's in a really, really bad spot, kind of pinned back in the corner here. Gives Pineapple some space to hit some more pot shots. Gets Zijin on the Diva. Winter is doing what he can to contest. Good coach gun usage from Pineapple. And KayLee's still kind of just hanging out back corner. A little bit scared. So this is where KayLee gets his shot. Has a couple seconds there, and Pineapple just, ouch, just wipes him right there. Right after killing Winter as well. So I'm not here to say KayLee is the best player ever. He gets pinned down. He's in a bad position here. And Pineapple, with a really nice, headshot there on KayLee. KayLee had a shot to make something happen. But not, in fact, a perfect player. We'll watch it one more time in slow-mo here. KayLee, gets around the corner first in watching a little bit more Valorant and other things. Getting that first corner is really helpful. Someone has to give the call out, or he hears gunshots. I'm not sure which. Pineapple sees and just whips over. Bam, done. KayLee had the first window there to make a play happen and couldn't quite do it. Last clip I have... Don't remember this one. Let me double check it. All right. Yeah, prep this one and don't quite remember it. So let me play this one here. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I remember this one now. Okay. So T1W is here capping the point. They've capped second point on Nambani, and things are, they're pushing forward pretty quickly, trying to get some position on the last point. And you get one more kind of nice turnaround flick shot from KayLee. It happens in a heartbeat there. So I'll go to slow-mo. And KayLee seems to have a good, 180 headshot profile on tracers here. Really enjoyed watching it repeatedly. Low health, trying to get back to spawn. Not even facing. Bam, done. So I don't know if it's just Ash versus Tracer, but pretty impressive plays there from KayLee. So overall, pretty solid Ash player. What I didn't have any clips of, frankly, because KayLee didn't get much done, was on the Tracer. So throughout this tournament, KayLee did play the Tracer from time to time. Busted it out against Team CC as well as Flag Gaming in the 2 matches that I watched, and then also T1W. And I will say that the Tracer competition is really good on those teams. So Team CC, you've got Dia and Innovation both playing Tracer, both top-notch. I don't think KayLee played the Tracer as well. We had Flag Gaming, Aprita, one of my favorite, if not my favorite Tracer in all of China. Didn't really hold a candle to Aprita's Tracer. And then T1W, I didn't see as much of the Tracer play, but overall, I wouldn't rate KayLee's Tracer very high. He is playing it in, high-level competition, but not standing out. So just a few clips to give you an idea of what I saw on KayLee. So I want to swap over now to Choisehwan. So, of course, he comes from Korea, and I'm here on Season 1 Korea because he didn't really play Season 2, and I'll get into that in a second. I don't think it's strange at all when you look at what the meta did and the stacked talent of Element Mystic. So in Season 1 of 2020 Contenders, we've got Choisehwan, we've got Hisang. Both Hisang, just incredible young talent, amazing Tracer, just a really good hit scan. Choisehwan's their only projectile, and in this meta, it was a lot of... Choisehwan was not really playing on meta. He was playing a lot of Genji. The Echo was very much on meta, and he also played the Echo. So we saw a lot of Genji Echo that I'll show here shortly. In Season 2, I have only watched the playoffs here. Let's see. Season 2, and I didn't see any Choisehwan. So if I go to Element Mystic, we've got just, and he's saying from before, they also added MN3, who's another hit scan player. And this being a double hit scan meta, he's saying is an amazing Tracer. MN3 is a very good hit scan, as is Just. And so they rotated those 3 in and out over the course of the tournament. They had a rather mediocre finish this time around. They did very well in the groups, but then they lost to WGS Phoenix. Overall, Element Mystic, they have a certain brand. They're fantastic. I don't hold it against Choisehwan for not playing in Season 2. More so just pointing out that Element Mystic is stacked, and Choisehwan is not some hyper flex that will play regardless of meta. So let's look at a couple of his plays here. Let me pull up my list for him. So the first one is a pretty cool Genji blade. Not one of those like sparkle type blades, but it's very thoughtful. I'll play it once full speed and then slow it down. So we see him on the pillar in the middle. He blades and kind of does a little bit of nothing here for 3 seconds, and it looks very unimpressive. Not the coolest play you ever saw, not the best blade you ever saw, but he does follow it up with a very nice cleanup here and a good fight win for Element Mystic that really helps secure them the first point here against Batlika, who have a few players of note. You've got Feather over there, who I'll check in the future. You got Chorong, who I forget who he moved to, but he definitely moved to like an upper tier team. And then Vigilante, who is going to play with Element Mystic on the Gauntlet. So no scrub team here. You know, they're a just fine team. So if I go back to this play in slow-mo, let's see what happened. So as we started, he's climbing the pillar at the start here. If we pause, you'll see Free just about has grab on the side of Batlika, which they're looking to counter pretty heavily here. So going at 1/4 speed, you see Kellen, who has Primal and is engaging. Chorong with a good whip shot to keep him away, and he pulls Blade. So we're looking at his options. He's right on top of that's Free, and right on top of Feather. And so he gets a good double chop in here. Good mechanics to get 2 with 1 swing. It immediately forces the ice block out of Feather. A good response, otherwise he would have died. And then Free immediately uses a zoning grab where he expects Choisehwan to be and where you would really expect him to go, probably knowing that Free was a full-on grab and potentially anticipating that, sees it there, and he just kind of hangs out, waits for a few seconds. And, you know, if we're talking trading ult for an ult, that grab, I think, is a much better ult, especially in this meta, than the Blade, especially when the Nano wasn't also used on it. So, you know, MCD is sitting here with a pocket Nano, and they were not going all in on this one. They've been using, throughout the series, they've been using a lot of Nano on Kellen. There were Winston for engagements. So as soon as Ice Block is done, you now have Feather, who's kind of out on his own. Free was killed. He took a lot of Genji Blade damage before. So the snowball starts here. But a very nice dash onto Feather. He misses, I'm going to go back. He misses the, I don't know, I consider it the EQO 180 Ninja Star. He goes for it, misses it, but then he's in close quarters, and even going at 1/4 speed, I don't think, you know, my aim would be this good. He gets a very nice, I don't think it was quite a headshot, but gets, you know, 3 nasty right clicks in a row, and they just burn down Feather. And then it's kind of just clean up from there, but it's a good dash. Good mechanics for 180, just kind of laying in the damage. So, not the coolest blade you ever saw, but I like that it's a smart blade. It was very thoughtful, and a lot happened there in a short period of time that makes me think he's a very smart Genji player there. There's a lot more Genji to come here. I think this next clip is not so much a who are we talking about? We're talking about Choisehwan here. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this is his clip here. So we go on to King's Row, last point, and he's playing the Echo and checkmate with the dive. We've got Trance. We want to see what's going on here. You know, if I pause for a second, Batlika has, you know, all they have is the Echo ult, which they use to zone with the Winston, trying to get the Primal and wreak some havoc. MCD uses his Trance in the meantime, and you'll see Melon gets really, really low here. And just over the course of the rest of the engage, Ansoon J finishes off the kill there. MCD D-Max free. Choisehwan gets the Baby Diva kill, and then also the checkmate kill after he comes out of his Primal. So I'll say it only one more time, but I so wish we had the replay reviewer so we could see these in a little bit better detail. But if I go back to 1/4 speed, this is actually a very nice play by Choisehwan in my opinion. So we got to go back to before when Melon is dead. So first things first, checkmate uses his Echo ult. He dives in, and he jumps on top of both of the supports. A good dive. Ansoon J now also getting called up to Owl for the Defiant with a very nice whip shot to get the ulting, or sorry, to get the Winston away, the Winston copy. And so he creates some space, buys a little bit of time. We'll see. Everything is good on, both sides. MCD does have to use a fairly early trance to keep the team up. Not a bad decision there. I like it to try and get a tempo kill here. And you'll see that Melon is on the high ground right there in the top middle of the screen, trying to get some damage on the high ground up there, dislodge Element Mystic down a little bit. So he's up there. He gets Discord orbed by MCD, and he just starts to burn down really quickly. You've got some sticky bombs. You've got some good left clicks from Choisehwan up here, and Melon is forced into the little room here, and he's kind of just stuck. You've got Vigilante down here as well, trying to stay safe, but it's a rough position for Melon when, the main tank gets stuck in the little room. He gets burned down very quickly. Sticky bombs, left clicks, and laser beam from Choisehwan up here. You can kind of see him. So he quickly gets that damage in. You have Free over here next, and they're just trying to protect their supports. Some fantastic tank busting coming from Element Mystic. And you'll see Free gets the Discord Orb next from MCD. And it's happening off screen. We're not really paying attention to Checkmate here, who's trying to zone out the supports. But even as he is zoning out the supports, Free gets demech'd, mostly from damage from Choisehwan. Then he gets the Baby Diva. And then through all that, Checkmate, they're down both their tanks. It's kind of a lost fight. But Checkmate then loses the duel to Choisehwan as well, with the Discord Orb, of course. So MCD, nice orbs, nice team coordination. But in what was a fairly even fight, other than just having the Trance versus the Echo copy ultimate at the start, Choisehwan is a real difference maker on the Echo. I didn't actually save the other clip that I thought I was going to look at here, but Feather is on Batlika as well. He's being benched for this particular match, but I will say that his Echo was straight up better than Choisehwan's, but I think they both have a very good Echo here. So nothing crazy, but definitely some solid plays from Choisehwan to show that he can play that Echo at a pretty good level. So we got a few more here. Let's see. Back to Genji. I think the rest of these are probably Genji. So this one, I'll go through it rather quickly. There's nothing too ridiculous for this one either. Just some good cleanup play. Strong mechanics on the Genji. I just like to see a Genji that, this guy knows how to play some Genji. Immediately, if I'm looking for tiers to put him in, he fits for me in the second tier of Genjis. He's not a Hacksaw level. He's not a Sparkle level. He's not... I don't know. It's kind of unfair just to have those two guys there. But, when I'm thinking top Genjis, I'm not sure that I'm willing to put him in that level yet. But he's bottom of that tier or top of the next tier as far as just how clean he plays the hero and the combination of smart decision-making in combination with just straight up raw mechanics. So, yeah, he's amazing. He can left-click turrets. But as soon as the turret's gone, just immediate shift. Appropriate targeting here. Gets the brig. Gets into safety. And, just your average everyday play. But in looking in slow-mo at his mechanics in first-person view, nice to see that he's got a very good clean Genji here. Pretty to watch. Very pretty to watch. So, big fan of his mechanics. Doing the small things nicely. Let's move on, though. Not every single blade is ridiculous, but we do get some Nano Blade action back in Season 1. They didn't always go straight up Nano Blade, but they did from time to time. This one was a kind of funny play as well. So, obviously, Nano Blade, you get a 3K. Things go well. He does die at the end of it, but, it's kind of the fight is already won. This one to me was a little bit interesting because he doesn't just run in and kill everything right away. I'm kind of comparing this one to the blade that I'm going to show next that fails horribly, and we'll see why I like this blade. So he's low, he gets the nano, and dashes in. And after he dashes, he's got the Brig in front of him. He is sitting on top of a Graviton Flux, and he's in what could be a very bad spot very quickly. In the short delay that he has, he gets out of the Flux, he gets some dash damage in, he avoids the Flux that was really meant for him. He comes back in and targets the Frisbee, avoids the sleeping Sigma, kills the Ash, immediately dashes, gets the Sigma and Brig with a 2/, and then dashes in. So very nice 3K. Free has a pretty nice Flux to try and stop him. He's just a second too late, and Choisehwan makes him pay for it. So very nice blade. The next blade doesn't work out so well. It's kind of, I mentioned at the start, he's not really playing meta. You'll see they're not playing the same comps. This happened repeatedly in Season 1. Element Mystic is, I think, clearly playing around the strength of his Genji. Kind of like you do see some of those top teams do where, you know, Haxall or, you know, Fleta pulled it out in the finals, I think, on one map where you're just, nobody's expecting it, but you play around it when you have it. Genji somehow always seems to work for some of these top level players. So I'll play through this clip rather quickly. This is when you kind of go ham on the blade and it doesn't work out. Never mind, it's the same clip as last time. I'm stupid. Let me see if I have the other one here. I guess I didn't save the bad one. So the other one, you know, it's your typical Genji blade where you get nano and you dash in and you just kind of get all the stuns immediately and die. Missed one of those. There was at least some of that. But for the most part, the blades were really smart, well thought out, just not every single one of them. So this one, switching back to a clip here, it starts with Feather, and I need to go back just a little bit because this one's a little bit hectic. So we've got Element Mystic made it into the side room, and just barely. They almost lost several team members. And so, you know, you'll see Feather out here. Everyone's repositioning for a side room fight here. And as they're getting through that repositioning, Choisehwan has Blade. You'll see they have Blade, Grav, Rally, Nano against Flux. So basically a crazy fight here. I think they definitely have the ult advantage, but, you know, there's a lot that could happen here. So Feather, like I said before, fantastic Echo player. I'll have to do a full video review of him later. He's kind of harassing from behind and from in front at the same time. And Element Mystic is kind of poking through the side room here. Kodalis starts using his Deadeye here and trying to zone out Element Mystic as they're joining the fight. And I'm going to play through what happens here because a lot happens extremely quickly. A lot's already happened here, but it's a pretty crazy fight with a lot of ults getting blown. Choisehwan with the first elimination, then gets the instant 2 with the blade next. Finally, the camera pans over to him, and, you know, the fight's kind of already over by that point. So I'm going to go back to this fight here. Very crucial, though. I mean, the series is 1-1. This is by no means an easy fight, easy map, easy team. This ended up as a 3-2 victory, but part of it was due to this map and this play here. So we go back to when they're engaging out of the side room. So the first thing that we'll see is just hacks free, and so they're down to 1 shield. And when they get that shield out, they also bust down Melon's shield. So Melon gets purpled. So very nice nade by MCD to initiate this fight. It's right after Just has a very good hack. So good team play here to get everything started. They've got the main tank out of the fight, purpled, who's running for his life, and the off tank is hacked. So I'll go down to 0.25x here. You'll see Choisehwan dash forward there, and even into the Deadeye. He knows he's on a clock. He's got to get out of there. But Melon drops to the low ground, so he follows to get, you know, out of the way of Deadeye, and he finishes the cleanup there. So they've got the 6v5 advantage. They still have Grav, but they did use the Nano onto Kellen, which is what they used to engage. I'm going to go back just a little bit. So much happens. So MCD does not use the Nano on the Genji with the blade, as you know, that hasn't always worked. You see it on Kellen right there. They had much more success nanoing the Winston rather than just straight up nano blade. So Kellen creates the space in the back line that causes a lot of damage, gets things rolling, and frees up the space for Choisehwan. He doesn't immediately blade. He focuses down Melon, as we saw before, dashes in, gets his reset with Melon down. And you'll see right before all this happened, we saw a lot of cooldowns used. We saw the lamp. Or we will see the lamp. The lamp gets used. Yes, you can see Chorong and Vigilante have lamp. The nanoed Winston was enough to bait out that cooldown. Maybe a little bit too soon, but it does keep Chorong alive. But now that the cooldowns have been blown, now Choisehwan has the chance to use his blade. So Deadeye has been used. We'll actually see Whip Shot get used as well. And he has a nice clean slate to work with. So it happens off camera. You now see him pop the blade. Vigilante immediately gets damaged. He's done. Kadalis was already a little bit low right when Lamp was right when Lamp was ending. So at this point, it's really good team play more than anything. Grav gets used as well right around the same time. But I like to see, it's more of an Element Mystic team play than anything. But it's nice to see, once again, a Genji that is smart, not just blowing his ult running in right away. He saves it for just the opportune moment that helps them get that quick and fast cleanup. So another nice play, more so a team play than just solely Choisehwan carrying, but still, pretty nice. Got one more here. It's just a fun Genji clip. Sometimes you just got to show the fun Genji plays. Yeah, double check the clip here. I think I pulled the wrong one. Let me reload that. Okay, yeah, this is it. So on Anubis, you've got... this is against Runaway. So Element Mystic kind of got wrecked in this one just a little bit. Nah, my clips are getting all backwards. This is the Feather 4K. No, it's not. It's not even the right gap. Never mind. I'm getting my clips mixed up. Let me try one more time to see if I can get the 4 kill with one swing. Never mind. Mix up my links a little bit. But gets the point across. Choisehwan, very nice Genji. Sorry to deprive you of one more Genji clip. I'll find it later and post it on Twitter or something. So, going back to the overall question that we're trying to address at the start of things. How is this DPS lineup going to work? So I went to their Wikipedia pages. Of course, the best resource. Kaylee shows up as the Ashe, the Sombra, the Pharah, the Widowmaker, the Echo. Like I said before, I didn't see the Pharah, but I'll believe it. I'll believe Wikipedia, I guess. With how well he played Ashe, I wouldn't be surprised if he has at least a passable Widow, but I'm not quite sure how good it is. And he played some Sombra, some Torb, some Echo, and I consider, some Tracer as well. I don't consider him to be as good on those heroes, but he does have a fairly wide hero pool, though more recently has been the hit scam player. Choisehwan, Genji specialist, I've seen that. 2 thumbs up there. Echo, maybe 1 thumb up there. Didn't see the Junkrat, don't really care. Didn't see the Doomfist, I'm sure, it's just fine. Then you have Pharah, which I didn't see. With how I saw him playing Genji, I definitely believe it, but I just haven't seen the Pharah myself. So we've got those hero pools there. Going back to the stat sheet here. So how does all this work out together? What's it going to look like for fantasy? So Eileen, Happy, Nero. Even though they had those 3 DPSs playing, the rotation for Guangzhou was a little bit weird compared to other teams. We saw the whole Nero situation where his play kind of just flatlined. He didn't play for the big middle chunk of the season, especially when they were, almost winning tournaments. Or maybe they won one. I already can't remember. I watched them all, but, they kind of run together. So Eileen didn't play so much at the start, then came in and played a lot. Happy was subbing in and out. We saw some Eileen-Nero duos. We saw them rotating out. And then when Nero kind of benched himself / whatever happened over there, which turned into the Visa issue, We saw Eileen pick up the slack very well. So we saw that rotation there. It makes me kind of wonder, though, looking at next year, we've got Eileen, who's our only player who we have Overwatch stats on because we don't have stats at the contenders level. Eileen in 2020 and also in 2019. Obviously, I think he's now best known for his Genji, since that's when they were running the table in tournaments. His Genji was obviously good. We have his Sombra, which is my personal favorite hero of his. I think he played it very well in 2020. I think in Sombra Goats, he was a big difference maker for the charge there as well. We've seen a lot of Sombra, a lot of Genji. His Tracer is fine. I think it's passable, but nothing that is that exciting. A little bit of Torb, a little bit of Mei, and then you kind of get into the rest. And then if we go back to last year's playoffs, feels like forever ago, Hacksaw versus Sinatra Doomfist. Eileen was still a very, very good Doomfist, but was in somewhat a tier below them. And then he played the Brig in Goats as well. So when I think about Eileen as a hero, as a player, I've always seen Eileen as somewhat of a specialist. It's hard to find a comp. Even though it doesn't quite make sense, I would kind of compare Eileen to Shaxx in that you don't ever see a very wide hero pool. But when you do see Eileen on a hero, it usually means Eileen is going to play that hero really, really well. Just, not some kind of super flex. I consider Eileen to be more of a specialist. I don't know what else Eileen can play, but I would imagine that it's going to be a small number of heroes that they're going to play very well. Unfortunately, that kind of has some overlap because we've seen the Genji. And I have to believe that when you're picking up someone like Choisehwan, that he is going to be your Genji. It adds in some layering. It makes me think they're going to have Eileen specialize in something else. I do think they have a little bit of a gap on heroes here. That's going to make it difficult for them if they don't pull in another DPS player. So, Pharah, I kind of have to believe you're covered. Wikipedia tells me you are through Choisehwan and his Pharah pick there. The Reaper, I mean, you're fine. I've seen Kaylee play the Reaper. I think that'll, it's Reaper. What else do you want me to say? You've got Kaylee playing the Ashe, probably, in your main hit scan heroes. Tracer is going to be a tough spot. Eileen plays the Tracer a little bit. Kaylee, a worse Tracer, I think. But they at least can kind of fill that gap, just not at an elite level. McCree, once again, kind of have to believe that Kaylee can play that, but probably not as well as Happy did last year. Genji, 2 thumbs up, you're good to go. Soldier, you don't really see a lot of Mei. When you go back to the charge and what they were playing, where'd it go? I think it exported funny when I put it over to PDF here instead of Power BI. But, recalling from last year, the Mei was always Nero. Anytime they were playing Mei, it was Nero. I definitely wouldn't put it past them to make Eileen specialize on that hero, or for Choisehwan to be able to learn it. But I do think the Mei is a current gap for the team that they do need to address. Doomfist, I think Eileen has him set. Sombra, they're set. Echo, Choisehwan. Hanzo, I don't know. Maybe they got a Hanzo somewhere in that lineup. So they mostly cover all the heroes, just not extremely well. So I don't think DPS will necessarily be a strong point for the charge. I don't think they're exactly bottom tier either, but there's a lot of question marks there in how these heroes line up. From a fantasy perspective, we're trying to, really all we're adding on top of that is trying to predict playtime. And if we're looking at playtime, it's impossible. First of all, I still think they're, I don't know if they've announced they have a full roster. It's possible they get a 4th DPS, which would shake things up even more. But to me, based on the variety that we've seen Kaylee play, you kind of have to believe that even if they're not the best player, Kaylee has a nice hero pool. If the meta is stagnant, you would think they could probably get Eileen and Choisehwan as their top 2 DPSs on a hero ready to go. But if you need hit scans, Kaylee's going to have to fill that gap probably too. So as far as playtime goes, in drafting these players, I'm probably not going to be drafting any of them very early on. I'm going to see who falls latest between these 3 and probably try and pick them up because I think Eileen has top point scoring potential on a lot of the heroes. However, it looks a lot worse with Choisehwan on the roster because Eileen did a lot of fantasy teams very well when he came in with the surprise Genji. But I have to believe Choisehwan's going to play that hero more. So unless Eileen picks up something else besides the Sombra, who always scores, very poorly or very mediocre in fantasy, Eileen is going to have a somewhat limited ceiling going back to those heroes that he plays. Probably not playing the Genji. If he's on the Sombra or the Tracer, might be good to go. So, your double hit scan is probably Kaylee on the Ashe, Eileen on the Tracer, Choisehwan benched. As soon as you get in a projectile, you're going to have Choisehwan in there. And it just depends what the other hero is. If you need a Tracer, it's probably Eileen. If it's a Sombra, it's probably Eileen. If it's straight up hit scan, it's probably Kaylee. So all comes down to saying I could see all three of them playing. I don't see one of these guys having, playtime locked down and being the go-to regardless of meta. It's going to shift. It's going to fluctuate. Be ready to pick these guys up. Highest ceiling goes to Choisehwan, just out of raw skill, raw potential, and heroes that he plays. Lowest floor, hard to say. All three of them. I think that about summarizes my view on the charge, though. If there's other players that you want clips of and want some kind of mediocre analysis like this, feel free to hit me up. But, I'm no true analyst. I'm definitely more of a fantasy guy. So any fantasy questions, send them my way too. Talk to y'all later.